coach, you love to see guys like Kelly Bryant be rewarded. I mean, Kelly is, just an A-plus team player, comes out here every day with a great attitude. He has an infectious personality. The players are really drawn to him, and he had to work extremely hard. Whenever he came in, he was a long ways away from being where he needed to be to go out and play winning football at a championship level. And I think that's probably one of the most gratifying things, is to see a guy really earn where he is and earn the opportunity and then earn his stripes. And this season, he's been on the road in big environments, and he just continues to deliver. And sometimes that's the way those great players are, is they just, no matter what circumstance, they find a way to deliver and find a way to get the job done, and that's exactly what he's done for us.
When you play a team like Alabama, how much do you rely on your depth when you can run that amount of running backs and wide receivers out there? And they've all had some pretty good amount of reps at this point. You got to feel like that's an advantage for you going into this.
Yeah, and I think as we look at it now over the last 3 years, we played 15 games. Now we're getting ready to play 14 games, so 44 games. If you're not playing with a lot of depth, you really can get worn down. And I think that's really been part of our formula, is being able to keep our guys fresh, playing a lot of guys. It also keeps these guys engaged in practice because they know they're going to get an opportunity to play. And when you're playing this many games and you got to be able to play your best later in the year, I think that's when your depth really starts to pay off.
You see you guys, Chaz at Arkansas, the three of you guys coming up next. Well, working under Dabo as his coaching tree grows, how does that prep you, or how has that prepared you for what's going to come next for the guys like you?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I feel very blessed that I have been here for every step of the way. I mean, I was here the day that he was named interim coach, and been able to watch really how he has built this program into a championship caliber program. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't some magic formula. It was really just being very consistent and having a vision, developing a culture, all those things. And you learn a lot from the people that you're around. Sometimes you learn things how you would want to do things differently, and sometimes you learn the right way to do things. And learning from Coach Sweeney, I think, is just going to prepare all of the coaches, not just the coordinators, but all of us, for future opportunities. And I feel very blessed. It reminds me a lot of my dad's career, being at Florida State for 11 years under Bobby Bowden, and just the valuable lessons that he was able to learn, and I was able to learn at a young age. So I feel very blessed being here around Coach Sweeney every day.
I know that you want to be a head coach. When will you know that the time is right? What opportunity would be right for Jeff Scott?
Well, first of all, I'm a man of faith, and so I've been able to look at my entire life, not just my career, and been able to see how the Lord has a plan, and He'll speak and let me know in the right time. But the best part is I'm at a great place around great people and learning, and I enjoy coming to work every day. It's an unbelievable culture that we have here at Clemson. And when you're coaching at your alma mater, and especially at a place like Clemson, for a man like Coach Sweeney, you're not in a hurry to leave. And that's really where I am as a coach, is every day I'm just trying to continue to learn, from all the coaches around me, from Coach Sweeney, from our players, and taking all this in. And hey, if it's in the Lord's plan for me to be a head coach one day, then that's going to happen on its own. One of the best advice that I've been given was actually from Coach Sweeney, and that's, just be great where your feet are and bloom where you're planted. And you see a lot of people in the coaching profession that are always kind of have their eyes outside, looking for that next opportunity, trying to make things happen. And I learned from Coach. He was just here coaching as hard as he could to be the best wide receivers coach that he could. And then one day he got the opportunity to be the head coach. And so when that day comes, I'll know when that is. But I really enjoy what I'm doing right now. And to be honest, I feel like we're just getting started. We always talk about the best is yet to come, and there's a lot of us that are still young. And so I'm looking forward to several more good years here at Clemson. And I truly feel like, because of the recruiting, that we're only going to get better each year. So that's an exciting thought and feeling.
And can it be stressed enough that you guys are where you are because this group of coordinators, head coach, been together since that 2014 Russell Athletic Bowl. That continuity.
There's no doubt. Whenever you see the coaching carousel and you see how many of these jobs have turned over every few years, and you look at the continuity that we've been able to have under Coach Sweeney is really incredible. And I think number one, it speaks to the type of environment that Coach Sweeney has for his coaches. He has an environment where people want to stay, and I know there's been plenty of coaches over the last few years that have had opportunities to leave, and they're not leaving. They're staying here for a reason, and a big reason of that is Coach Sweeney and the environment he has here, and then also the support that's here from an administration standpoint has really put us in a position to have the continuity for a long time, and that really, I believe, is what it takes to be able to be great for a long period of time and have that consistency on the field. You really need that off the field, and that's one thing that we're most proud of that we have here at Clemson.
Is that continuity and recruiting kind of underscored by the fact that y'all had 6 AP All-Americans, one more than last year, a school record, twice as many as Alabama, just being able to repeat and sustain that success?
Yeah, and part of it for us is we really never even think about that till that happens, and we congratulate the guys that day in the team meeting, and everybody moves on. But really, our culture is really not about the 5 stars. When you can have a guy like Hunter Renfro come from walk-on to being one of your most valuable players on your team, I think it really speaks of a culture where everybody's on equal footing whenever they get here, and you can kind of leave the stars at the door, and it's time to go to work, and you're going to get what you earn. And that's really the mentality and the culture that's been built here. But obviously, we're very proud of our guys, and it's awesome to see guys. I can remember being involved recruiting Dorian O'Daniel and where he was coming out of high school, really just a good athlete that had a lot to learn about football, and now to be able to see him be an All-American in his position is very gratifying as a coach.
What are some specifics you're hoping to get done here over these next few weeks when you have this break on offense?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is focusing on ourselves and on our execution. And that's really what our message has been all year, and it's going to be even more, I think, important when you're playing an opponent like Alabama. That's, athletically is going to be able to match you. So now it comes down to the nuances, the fundamentals, the team that plays with the best technique and does the little things better than everyone else. And so that's really what we're focusing on in practice. And this the bowl prep is really, obviously we've got to get ready for Alabama schematically, some of the things that we want to do, but really the focus is on ourselves and being able to be as efficient as we can and play a very clean game, and really what it will take for us to have a chance to beat Bama.
This is more of a chess match between both teams this year, just because the last 2 meetings you only had a week to prepare versus 3 or 4 weeks this year?
Yeah, it's definitely different. You have more time to prepare, and you've played each other the last 2 years. But obviously, it's the same for both groups. For us, really, there's only so much you can do to prepare for your opponent. So really, this first week of bowl practice is really kind of focused on Clemson, very similar to what you may do in spring ball, kind of getting back to the basics and cleaning up a few things that maybe you didn't do as strong as you wanted to do towards the second half of the season. And then, as we kind of flip the page this weekend and really start getting into our game plan versus Bama, we'll be more kind of focused on that. And that's been our formula. And our guys believe in our formula. We've had a lot of success in our bowl games over the last 5 or 6 years, and so we're staying consistent with that formula.
Coach Sweeney was talking about just how this team's playing its best ball right now. Offensively, there was a stretch where you probably didn't feel like you were playing your best, but it's gotten better as the years going on, especially the last 3 or 4 games. What's been the difference? How have you been able to keep these guys from getting frustrated when things weren't going well?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just getting the guys to come out and play at a high level and play and practice consistently. I think when it gets late in the year and you start getting to game 10, 11, 12, now you're playing the ACC championship, there's a tendency to maybe start backing off a little bit as a player, because you're maybe getting a little bit tired and need a little bit of a break. But the teams that are able to continue to win late in the year are the ones that have that mindset and can really prepare to play their very best game as if it's a 1-game season. And